I'm Moody Boo, the Fragrant Nomad, and I'm back with your next top 5 poll winner, and that is Orange Blossom. I was going to do an honorable mention, but I'm tired, I'm busy getting ready for vacation, and it's been a long week, so I just took off the honorable mention. I'm just going to do the 5. So let's get started. And these aren't in any particular order, because as you well know, I'm very fickle. And pretty much whatever the last one I wore is probably my favorite. But with this one, there is a clear winner of which one I like the most. I just don't have any places for all the rest of them where they fit in the top 5. So I'm not going to worry about it. But I will end with my favorite. So let's just get started. So I'm going to start with Nobile 1942's Perfume. Perfume. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think it's Italian, which I'm just as good at as I am French. So we know how good that is. So Perfume, top notes are bergamot, lavender, grapefruit. Middle notes are orange blossom, neroli, ylang ylang, petitgrain, rose, and base notes are vanilla, musk, and cedar. And this one I don't think is quite as sweet as some of the other ones, because orange blossom fragrances can be very sweet. And I don't know if it's because orange blossom, a lot of times they pair it with neroli, but I don't always, just because orange blossom's in there doesn't mean I'm going to like it, because some of them can be very soapy. And I don't like that kind of soapy that they do. So with Perfume, you absolutely get the bergamot and the grapefruit. It starts off with a little bit of citrus vibe, but that goes away really quickly. So then the orange blossom, neroli, ylang ylang start to come in. And they combined with that lavender, making it a really interesting fragrance. It's a little different than some of the other orange blossom fragrances that I have. Some of them are kind of similar. This one, the difference is that cedar in the base, you get that from within 10 minutes of spraying it all the way through the rest of the wearing. I love a good cedar fragrance. It's not a sweet cedar like the kind of cedar. I just found out what we're calling cedar up here in the PNW in the Pacific Northwest is not a true cedar. It's some kind of something else, but it's not a cedar, but we call it cedar. And that's what I'm talking about as far as cedar goes. I guess the original cedar is more European, and it's quite different than what we call cedar, but I don't care. The cedar we have smells so good. It's the stuff that you'll see in bars. Back when cigarettes were allowed in a bar, you'd see a lot of times good bars, inns, clubs, whatever, would have a wall of cedar paneling or some kind of cedar shape or something on there, because that really helps absorb the odors from a lot of people being in a room smoking and drinking. So it's a wonderful fragrance. Now this is really well blended, but I have a nose for cedar, so I can usually pick it out. At least the woody notes I can pick out usually pretty easily. Now I never really get much rose, which is a total bummer. There's a hint of it in there, and it's a creamy rose, but it just kind of comes in and out, does a little bit of roller coaster thing. You smell it at the top, you don't smell it at the bottom, and it kind of comes and goes. The petitgrain, I don't know if I really get that, or the musk, but I definitely get the vanilla. Performance is really good on it. I easily get 8 hours, probably closer to 9 out of it with 2 to 3 sprays. I would say it's sweet, but it's not so sweet you couldn't wear it in warm temps, because I feel like orange blossom is one of those fragrances, one of those notes that really is supposed to be worn during hotter temperatures. I don't know that to be true. That's just my interpretation. But this one I think you could wear year round, mainly probably because of that cedar note and some of the lavender. It's sweet, it's a little dusty. It's warm, but not too warm, and that's just, I'm sure, because of the woody notes, the cedar. It's not a bee smoke kind of fragrance. It's more polite than that, so it doesn't project crazy. It goes to about arm's length, and it stays there for quite some time. And it's one of those poof out. Most of these are a poof out. None of these dry down to some generic woody base or white musk base or anything like that. They pretty much smell, what you smell in the base notes is what you get until they're gone. I think this is mid-range. I forgot to look up the prices, but you know I'm not perfect. But I believe this was mid-range, and I think you can get this on discount websites now as well. So I really love Nobile 1942, or is it Nobile? Probably is Nobile. I don't know why I put a at the end of it, but I did. So Nobile 1942 has one of my favorite fragrances of all time, and that's La Danza della Libellula, Dance of the Dragonfly. Love that one. One of my absolute desert island fragrances. This one is not a desert island fragrance, but I really, really love it, especially for a heavy orange blossom fragrance. There's no soapiness in it whatsoever. There's no real soapiness in any of these. Thank you. So next. The next one is another favorite, and that's by House of Sillage, and this is Benevolence. So most people, Benevolence has been around for a hot minute, so most people know about it, but I'll go ahead and refresh your memory. It's bitter almond, star anise, bergamot, mid notes are orange blossom, jasmine, lavender. Base notes are sugar, Madagascar, vanilla, and musk. And again, I don't get musk. I get sugar though. I've talked about this so many times, it's ad nauseum. But sugar, when I've smelled like just a sugar note, there's a hint of tang in it. Just a hint. It's sweet, but it's not this boring, generic, sugary, sweet kind of a note. There's some interest to it, some dynamics to it with that tang that has right at the end there. And this has that. This is, I can absolutely say that I love Benevolence more than Perdizione, but not by a lot. But I do, just because this one is creamier. It doesn't have that dustiness to it that Perdizione has. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's almost candied orange blossom. I kind of interpret it as sometimes. It's a hint floral. It's wonderful, wonderful. And I believe you can get Benevolence on discount websites now as well. One of my favorite House of Sillage fragrances though. I don't get a lot of the star anise or the bitter almond, which really surprises me. There's like this hint maybe in the background of like some black Twizzlers or something, really sweet black licorice, not Australian black licorice that has the spice. But I think there's just a hint of that in the background. But I get no bitter almond, even with the dry down. And this one is pretty linear. So what you get at the beginning is pretty much what you're going to get in the full wearing, which is absolutely fine with me because I adore it. This one is a bit sweeter than Perdizione, I think because it doesn't have that dustiness and has more creamy, sweet notes in it. So this is one I think would be lent to warmer temperatures. I don't know, I have worn it in the winter, but it's been a while, so I don't remember how it performed. But I know in the summer it does pretty good. It can bloom a little bit, but it's not outrageous. So I tend to wear this more at night. Sometimes I do wear it during the day though. I have to admit I've worn it to work more than once. But I do think it just kind of lends itself a little more to nighttime wear, you know, frisky, frivolity, festive kind of times. It's not such a heavy hitter. I would, you know, say that it'd be a good clubbing kind of fragrance to compete with other signature scents. But it's unique enough and it's inviting enough that you might be able to pull it off if you overspray it a bit. And this lasts me easily 8 hours as well, sometimes a little closer to 9 with 2 to 3 sprays. And it projects arm's length, maybe a little farther than arm's length, but not much. So great stuff. Expensive. If you buy it off of House of Sillage's website, it's expensive. It's over $200 unless they have a sale. But again, if you're interested, I would check it out on discount websites like FragranceNet. All right, next. This next one I'm not going to talk a lot about because everybody knows it. And this is my second bottle, but as you can tell, I haven't worn it in a while because it's the old bottle. They've got some new ones now. The bottles are different. They're not just this black kind of Wild West apothecary looking thing. It's got some white and It's got some other, unless that's just a different size bottle and the 50 ml bottle is still the same. I don't know that. But this is Love by Kilian. Love, Don't Be Shy. Always one of my favorites. One of the things is it's one of my husband's favorites still. That's why this is bottle number 2. But I have a lot of others that he really likes. I'll have to do a top 10 of his one of these days. I say stuff like that and then I never do it. He loves this. He says it smells like an orange creamsicle. That's what he gets. And then when he said that, I kind of understand it. I kind of get it. It does have that orange creamsicle kind of vibe. So, and just to refresh your memory, it's neroli, bergamot, pink pepper, coriander, orange blossom, honeysuckle, jasmine, iris, rose, sugar, vanilla, caramel, musk, civet, and labdanum. And I don't get a lot of those notes. I don't get the musk. I don't get the civet. I don't get the iris. I don't get the coriander, but I pretty much get everything else. It is orange blossom, honeysuckle to me. Caramel, sugar, vanilla, pink pepper, and did I say orange blossom? Heavy kind of a fragrance. So love this stuff. Performance isn't great. Now I don't know if it was reformulated when the bottles changed or if the bottles changed, but it might have been. I don't know. I can't tell you that. But performance on this isn't great. I get about 6-7 hours with 2 to 3 sprays, and it projects about arm's length for a very short time. Then it comes to about elbow's length before the end of the wearing, it poofs out. So I do wish the performance was better, and I'll be curious from you guys if you have the new edition of this or a newer version of this or a new one of this, just to let me know if you think it has been reformulated. Love this stuff. And all of these are completely unisex, but I do think that Orange Blossom can be interpreted as a bit feminine. So there may be some masculine personalities that aren't interested in it, especially some of these in my list, because there is a bit of that candied orange kind of a vibe to them. So, but I would love to smell this on a guy. I'm not giving it to my hunky stud muffin, though. I'm telling you that right now. He's got other ones he's going to get. This is mine. And I have to say, Love has been on my desert island for years. I have been wearing Love for at least 10 years, I want to say, at least. Expensive, but you can get this on discount websites. It does tend to sell out quicker than some of the other Kilians you'll find on discount websites. So be sure to check back often if it isn't there. All right, next one. I don't know. They're all my favorites. This one, though, is a goodie, and I've talked about it before. And this is Chabaud Orangerie. I don't know how to say this. Orangerie Musicale. Oh, man. I haven't picked this up in a while. And I was going through looking for my Orange Blossom fragrances to do this list. And I picked it up, and I was like, holy crap. I forgot all about it. It was hiding behind another bottle. So I didn't see it to pick it up, because this is the weather for this. It's finally warm here. It's been like in the high 30s and 40s during the night, and now it's in the 80s during the day. Crazy, crazy PNW weather, but that's the way it is around here. Orangerie Musicale by Chabaud is neroli, orange, bergamot, star anise, French orange flower, Egyptian jasmine, sugar, benzoin, almond, vanilla, and musk. Oh, you pretty much get all of those. I'm not sure about the almond and no musk, but all the rest of it you get, and these are all really well blended too. But you still, even with a well blended perfume, if one note is more dominant or 2 notes are more dominant, you're going to smell those over the others a lot of times. This Chabaud, though, it is orange flower, citruses. I get the anise, I get the florals in there, the vanilla, the sugar for sure. Oh, it's so good. It's brighter, I think, than some of the others. I think it has a little more citrus in it than some of the others, a little more orange and orange blossom kind of combo, which makes it incredible. This is summer fragrance all the way. Summer all the way. I love wearing this in the summer. 2 to 3 sprays last me about 8 hours. None of these are beast mode, and none of them last super long either. But I'm totally fine with 7 to 9 hours for wearing for a fragrance, because by then I want to wear something else anyway. Because it's a little heavier citrus at the top especially, it does get more creamy, orange blossomy, kind of floral in the dry down. It has a little bit of change from top to bottom with this one. Not a lot, but some. So it just goes from kind of this sweet orange blossom kind of combo, and it dries down and it becomes a little creamier, a little bit sweeter, and almost a little candied again. I have a thing about candied orange. I love to smell it. Candied orange blossom, candied orange. Makes no matter to me. I love it all. And I think because this one is brighter, that this will be interpreted even a little more feminine than some of the others. But I would love to smell these kind of fragrances on a man, just to see if some of their man funk doesn't change it a little bit and make it a little sexy or something. I don't know. Man funk. Boy, that sounded tasty, didn't it? Yeah, I know what I mean. This is more mid-range, so you don't have to pay $200 for this one. I think you can get this on discount websites too, so you'd probably be able to get it at a pretty good price. I think I paid retail for this, and I think it was around the $150 range, if I'm not mistaken. This one, I think you could wear during the day as much as at night. I almost tend to think of it more as during the day than at night because of that more citruses are in it. My absolute favorite out of this list, even though some of them get pretty darn close, but I am wackadoo over this. And this is by Sylvaine Delacourte, and this is Osiris. And that's another reason why I put it at number 1 too, because it's the most affordable out of all of these. This is clementine, mandarin, sesame, pink pepper, orange blossom, honey, clary sage, benzoin, sandalwood, cedar, gaiac wood. It is less candied orange or orange blossom than all the rest because it's very dynamic. You get all of these notes. It starts off with this really interesting citrusy sesame seed kind of vibe going on. I know it sounds like a weird combination, but it works. And then, I don't know about the pink pepper, but the orange blossom and the honey absolutely complement one another. It makes it not just sweeter. I shouldn't say that. I don't think it makes it sweeter, but it makes it richer in its sweetness, and it makes it more thick, I think. The sweetness is a little thicker than it is on some of the other ones. Oh. So you definitely get the citruses and the sesame at the beginning, and when it dries down, you absolutely get the orange blossom, the honey, then the sandalwood kicks in, and you know, the cedar, gaiac wood, and benzoin, I think it just warms it up a little bit. It doesn't make it less sweet in the dry down. This thing is not as sweet as some of the others, but it's still sweet, and it stays sweet throughout the entire wearing. Oh, that honey is crazy good. And the combination of honey and orange blossom is blowing my little tiny bird brain, I'm telling you. So this one I think is the most unisex out of all of them too, because there is more, it's just, it doesn't have that candied quality to it. It's warmer, it's richer, it's thicker, it's more determined than the other ones, in my opinion. And I love that they make it in several sizes to where you could buy a 1 ounce bottle. This was under $100 for this, easily. Oh. And this one I think you could also wear year round because of the dynamics of it and because of the warmth that comes in, probably from the wood notes in the base, the longer you wear it. So I definitely think you could wear this year round, and I have, and I do, and I will. I think this is more nighttime because it is sweet and dynamic and rich and thick and sexy, in my opinion. without any real sexy notes in there. Year round. I wouldn't touch it during the day. Really good in the hot temperatures, but this one can bloom a little bit. Not much, but it can bloom a bit, which to me I find advantageous, because then I only do 2 sprays instead of 3, or 1 spray instead of 2, depending on the heat, and it does great. It lasts, yeah, about 8-9 hours on me with 2 to 3 sprays. Projects every bit of arm's length. And it does come a little closer, never becomes a skin scent. It's one of those poof out kind of fragrances. Doesn't go dry down into any weird, generic, boring, gross kind of base. It smells like it does once it gets to the base notes, as it does when it leaves your body. So I appreciate that so much. I love fragrances like this where the perfumers were not lazy. They didn't put some bullshit base in there. They actually wanted to create in their art from top first spray to when it finally leaves your body, and those are my favorite kind of fragrances. I love them. I don't even care if they change at the very, very end before they poof out, as long as they don't do the dry woody base or that stupid white musk bullshit. That's all I'm saying. All right, well, that was it for my top 5 orange blossom fragrances. I'll put up, if I haven't already, blah, 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 say the same thing every time. I'll put up a new top 5 poll. And then I'm not sure if I'll post a video after this weekend. I'll post one this weekend, but I'm not sure if I will next weekend, because we're getting ready for our vacation. Things are really busy and a little chaotic right now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to next weekend or not, but I will try very hard to do one the weekend after. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but you'll find out when I do. So thank you so much for being here. Be sure to go on my community page and vote, please, because there was not a lot of votes on my next review of a perfume. You know, I combine them. It's either 2 or 3 that I usually review, but there's not a lot of votes. I think there was like 32, and I'd appreciate it if you guys go in there and encourage other people to go on there and vote, because I really want a definitive winner. I don't want any ambiguity. All right, well, thank you for being here. I'll be back soon, and don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell and comment if you want. If you don't, it's all good. I still love you. Where are you? There you are. Where? There. Yeah, there. All right, and use your nose. Peace.